Caitlin Clark isn't just lighting up the WNBA, she's rewriting the entire playbook of what it means to dominate women's basketball. You thought you had her pegged as a sharpshooting sensation, a one-trick pony raining threes from absurd distances? Guess again, because that version of Clark is ancient history. The Caitlin Clark tearing through the league now is a whole new beast, stronger, faster, and straight-up bullying defenders in ways that leave jaws on the floor. She's not content with just splashing 30-footers anymore. She's powering through double teams, shrugging off physical punishment, and imposing her will on both ends of the court like a seasoned veteran. Opponents don't just struggle to guard her. They're scrambling to figure out how to survive her. How did she morph from a college phenom into this unstoppable WNBA force of nature? Buckle up, because this transformation is nothing short of electrifying, and we're diving deep into every jaw-dropping detail. From her roots to her relentless rise, this is the story of how Caitlin Clark became the player everyone's talking about, and trust me, she's only just getting started. Let's rewind the clock and take a long, hard look at where this journey kicked off, because Caitlin Clark didn't just stumble into greatness. She built it brick by brick. Back at the University of Iowa, she wasn't just a star. She was a supernova, a once-in-a-generation talent who turned college basketball into her personal highlight reel. Picture this. Night after night, she'd step onto the court, eyes locked in, and proceed to torch defenses with a scoring barrage that left fans screaming and opponents dazed. She didn't just break records, she shattered them into a million pieces, eventually claiming the title of NCAA's all-time leading scorer. We're talking 3,951 points over her career, a number so ridiculous it sounds like a video game stat. Her long-range bombs were her calling card, stepping back from 30 feet, flicking her wrist, and watching the net ripple like it was nothing. But it wasn't just the points, it was how she did it. The swagger, the no-look passes, the way she'd thread the needle through traffic to set up teammates, it was pure basketball artistry. Her college run wasn't without pressure, though. Leading Iowa to back-to-back national championship games in 2023 and 2024 meant every eye in the sport was glued to her. The Hawkeyes leaned on her heavily, and she delivered, carrying them through nail-biters and blowouts alike. By the time her senior year wrapped up, her number 22 jersey was headed for the rafters at Carver Hawkeye Arena, a permanent testament to her legacy. Fans adored her, analysts raved about her, and the hype machine went into overdrive when the Indiana Fever snagged her as the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. The expectations were sky-high. Some called her the savior of the franchise, others the future of the league itself. Everyone wanted to know, could this lanky kid from Iowa, with her deadly jumper and unshakable confidence, translate that magic to the pros? The WNBA was a different beast entirely, a league where physicality reigns supreme, where rookies get humbled fast, and where doubters wait in the wings to pounce. Clark was about to find out just how steep that learning curve could be, and it set the stage for an epic showdown between her potential and the league's unforgiving reality. When Caitlin Clark stepped into the WNBA, it wasn't a gentle handshake, it was a sledgehammer to the chest. The professional game is a grinder, a place where physicality isn't just part of the equation, it's the whole damn rulebook. Early in her 2024 rookie season with the Fever, Clark got a crash course in that reality. Defenders didn't care about her college accolades or her highlight reels. They saw a skinny rookie with a target on her back and went straight for the jugular. Picture this. Bigger, stronger guards leaning into her, bumping her off her spots, and daring her to keep firing those deep shots she'd made look effortless at Iowa. Some nights, the ball wouldn't drop. Her three-point percentage dipped below what fans were used to, and you could see the frustration etched across her face as shots rimmed out or got swatted away. The physical toll was only half the battle. The mental grind was just as brutal. Critics, those armchair experts who love to tear down anything shiny and new, started chirping louder with every off game. She's too frail for this league, they'd say. She can't handle the pros' intensity. Social media lit up with hot takes questioning whether her college stardom was a fluke, whether she'd be one of those players who dazzles in NCAA but fizzles against the world's best. Even some analysts wondered aloud if her game, so reliant on outside shooting, could adapt to a league where defenders close out harder, move faster, and punish every mistake. It was a relentless barrage of noise, and for a lot of rookies, that kind of pressure would have cracked them wide open. But Caitlin Clark isn't most rookies. She didn't sulk or shrink. She stared down the doubters with that same icy glare she'd used to silence college arenas. Every shove from a defender, every missed shot, every snarky comment became fuel for her fire. She didn't just want to survive the WNBA, she wanted to conquer it. So instead of resting on her laurels or coasting through her first offseason, she took a long, hard look in the mirror and decided to rewrite her own story. The challenges weren't roadblocks, they were stepping stones, and what she did next turned her from a promising talent into a full-blown problem for the entire league. If you thought Caitlin Clark was going to take a breather after her rookie year, you don't know Caitlin Clark. The off-season wasn't a vacation, it was a war zone, and she was the general plotting her next campaign. She didn't just tweak her game, she tore it down to the studs and rebuilt it into something unstoppable. Her training regimen was the stuff of legends, a grueling, no-days-off grind that turned her body and mind into a finely tuned machine. Let's break it down piece by piece, because this wasn't some casual gym session. This was a calculated overhaul designed to dominate the WNBA's toughest challenges. First up, strength. Clark hit the weight room like a linebacker prepping for the NFL. She piled plates onto the bar, hammering her core with planks and deadlifts until she could absorb contact like a brick wall. Her legs got the VIP treatment. Squats, lunges, and box jumps stacked muscle onto her quads and calves, giving her the explosiveness to burst past defenders or rise up through traffic. She didn't stop there. Upper body work with presses and pull-ups bulked up her shoulders and arms, so when defenders tried to body her, they'd bounce off instead of knocking her around. This wasn't about looking good. It was about turning her frame into a weapon that could withstand and dish out the league's physical punishment. Endurance was next on the hit list. The WNBA's 40-minute games are a marathon, and Clark wasn't about to gas out when it mattered most. She ran sprints until her lungs burned, pounded the treadmill for long-distance stamina, and drilled full-court scenarios to mimic the chaos of a real game. Agility drills came in hot too, ladder runs, cone weaves, and quick-cut exercises that sharpened her footwork and let her dance around defenders like they were stuck in mud. Flexibility and injury prevention rounded it out. Yoga sessions stretched her muscles to keep them loose, while targeted rehab work strengthened her joints to dodge the wear and tear injuries that plague so many pros. Oh, and her skills? She didn't neglect those either. Hours on the court refined her handles, dribbling through cones, practicing crossovers, and tightening her ball control so no one could rip it away. Her jumper got sharper too. She'd shoot hundreds of reps from every angle, perfecting her form until it was automatic. Passing drills with teammates honed her vision, turning her into a playmaking maestro. By the time she was done, Clark wasn't just a better athlete. She was a complete player, ready to unleash hell on anyone dumb enough to step in her way. The WNBA wasn't going to know what hit it. Now, let's step onto the hardwood and see this transformation in action, because Caitlin Clark 2.0 isn't just talk, it's a full-on spectacle. Last season, a defender could muscle her off her path to the basket, force her into tough shots, or wear her down by the fourth quarter. Today, good luck trying that. She's the one dictating terms now, and the evidence is piling up game after game. Take a recent matchup against the Connecticut Sun. Late in the third, she drove the lane, took a hard elbow to the ribs from a defender, and didn't even flinch. She powered through, stayed balanced, and kissed the ball off the glass for an and one. The crowd erupted, her teammates mobbed her, and the defender just shook her head like, "What am I supposed to do with that?" That's not an isolated moment. It's the new normal. Her physicalities flipped the script entirely. Where she used to get bumped off her spots, she's now the aggressor, seeking out contact and finishing through it with a snarl. Smaller guards try to press her full court, and she laughs it off, backing them down with her newfound strength, using crisp footwork to carve out space, and dropping floaters or fadeaways in the paint. Bigger defenders? They're no match either. She'll blow by them with a quick first step or muscle them out of the way for a layup. In a game against the Chicago Sky, she took a switch onto a forward, posted up, and powered through for a bucket while the crowd chanted her name. Defenders who used to push her around are the ones getting pushed now, and it's a sight to behold. But it's not just brute force. Her game's expanded in every direction. That mid-range pull-up she's added? It's a dagger. She'll catch the ball at the elbow, jab step to freeze her defender, then rise up from 15 feet and bury it before anyone can react. Her three-point range is still lethal. Teams can't sag off her, or she'll punish them from downtown. But now she's got layers to her offense. Defensively, she's a menace too. The added muscle lets her body up bigger guards, slide through screens, and contest shots without getting screened off. Against the Las Vegas Aces in a tight fourth quarter, she was everywhere, sprinting end-to-end, hitting teammates with pinpoint outlet passes, and locking down her assignment while everyone else was gasping for air. Her stamina's insane, and it's turning her into a clutch-time nightmare. The stats back it up, but it's the eye test that sells it. She's not just scoring. She's controlling games, bending defenses to her will, and elevating the fever with every possession. Her passes are crisper, zipping through gaps with a velocity that catches opponents off guard. Her decision-making's sharper, knowing when to attack or when to set up a teammate. She's not a one-dimensional shooter anymore. She's a complete, dominant force, and the league's starting to realize they're dealing with something special. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing in the WNBA, she's reshaping it, and the shockwaves are hitting every corner of the league. Her presence isn't subtle. It's a seismic shift that's forcing everyone, players, coaches, even executives, to sit up and take notice. Teams don't just game plan for her. They overhaul entire strategies to counter her unique blend of power, finesse, and relentless energy. Picture opposing coaches in film rooms, scratching their heads as they watch her blow up their best-laid plans. Double her on the perimeter? She'll drive through and score anyway. Pack the paint? She'll step back and drain a three in your face. Trap her? She'll fire a no-look pass to a cutting teammate before you can blink. Every adjustment they throw at her, she counters with something new, and it's driving the competition insane. Her style's infectious. Too, it's trickling down to the next generation. Young players, from high school prospects to college stars, are studying her every move. They're mimicking her deep pull-ups, her fearless drives, her ability to take over games with a mix of skill and grit. Go to any AAU tournament, and you'll see guards trying to replicate that Clark swagger, the way she stares down a defender after a big shot or pumps up her squad after a hustle play. She's not just a player. She's a blueprint, a living, breathing highlight reel that's inspiring kids to push their own limits. The WNBA's talent pool is about to get deeper and flashier because of her, and that's a legacy that'll outlast any stat line. The Fever are reaping the rewards too. With Clark as their cornerstone, they're not just a team, they're a movement. Attendance is spiking, jerseys are flying off shelves, and their games are must-watch TV. Teammates feed off her energy. Veterans like Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston talk about how her intensity lifts everyone's game. Opposing players feel it too. Post-game handshakes come with nods of respect, even from the ones she's just torched. Coaches are sweating bullets trying to slow her down, and defenders are second-guessing every step, wondering what she'll pull out of her bag next. She's not fitting into the WNBA's mold. She's breaking it wide open and forcing the league to evolve with her. This isn't a one-year wonder. It's the start of a revolution, and Clark's the spark that's lighting the fuse. So, where does Caitlin Clark go from here? If she's pulling off this kind of dominance in her rookie season, the horizon's looking downright terrifying for the rest of the league. This isn't a flash in the pan. It's a foundation for something massive. Her work ethic's the stuff of legends. Teammates and trainers rave about how she's the first in the gym and the last to leave, always tinkering with her game like a mad scientist chasing perfection. That drive's got people whispering about MVP trophies, and not just one. Picture her in a few years, stronger and savvier, hoisting that hardware while the Fever faithful lose their minds. It's not a stretch, it's a real possibility, and odds makers are already taking note. Playoffs? Championships? Oh, they're on the table too. The Fever haven't sniffed a title in over a decade, but Clark's the kind of talent who can drag a franchise to the promised land. Imagine her in a Game 7. Clock ticking down, ball in her hands. She's got that killer instinct to bury a dagger three or bulldoze to the rim for the win. She's already elevating her squad. Give her a few more pieces and some playoff seasoning, and they could be cutting down nets. Rumors are swirling about her next steps. Word is she's eyeing ways to sharpen her playmaking, maybe even add a post game to her arsenal. If she pulls that off, she'll be unguardable, a 6-foot guard who can score from anywhere, dish dimes, and lock down the other team's best player. Her legacy's the real kicker, though. Clark's not just climbing the ranks, she's carving out a spot among the all-time greats. Think Diana Taurasi's shooting, Sue Bird's vision, and Aya Wilson's tenacity, all rolled into one relentless package. She could redefine what it means to be a guard in the women's game, blending old-school fundamentals with new-school flair. The ceiling? There isn't one. In 5 years, we might be talking about multiple titles, a stack of individual awards, and a cultural impact that transcends stats. She's not chasing records, she's chasing immortality, and the WNBA might never look the same when she's done. Caitlin Clark's just getting warmed up, and the league better brace itself for what's coming. Caitlin Clark's gone from a sharpshooting rookie to a full-blown WNBA titan, and she's doing it at warp speed. Stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever. She's not just proving she belongs, she's proving she's here to dominate. The league's got no choice but to take notice, because every game she plays is a statement. This is her court now. If she's already this good after one season, what's coming next could blow our minds and rewrite the history books. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive. Smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss a second of her wild ride. Drop a comment below. Where do you see Clark in 5 years? MVP? Champion? All-time great? Let's get that conversation rolling. Catch you in the next one.